I'm going to share a bit of the story that I lived in the past year with Node.js and bringing Node.js as a platform forward. About 5 years ago, I packed up my family and we moved out to San Francisco for me to be able to go get one of the few Node.js jobs. About 5 years of my life has been dedicated to that, and including founding a couple companies around that. But this last year has been a real key evolution point in the history of the project. So I'm going to share that story and see how that goes into the future of what Node.js has to bring to JavaScript. So I'm Dee Shaw. I'm not a angry pink unicorn. I'm sorry to disappoint. My company, NodeSource, helps enterprise companies that are adopting Node be ready for Node and scale Node with support and operational tooling. And as Dave mentioned, I big community organizers, and as one of the exciting tidbits of this last year, I have a spectrum of meetups from NodeBots to SF Node and now Enterprise.js. NodeBots has always been kind of the anti-meetup. It's kind of like getting together and playing Legos together and sort of sharing the outcomes. It's kind of an anti-meetup. SF Node is very much a traditional meetup. And then Enterprise.js is an exciting initiative where we're really bringing that sense of community to the enterprise and organizations that are not used to sharing with peers, bringing them together and really helping them share the experiences of large-scale JavaScript deployments. So, in 2015, Node.js grew up and moved out of the house. It's been a long-time community project, but it's time. It's time for this vital evolution and a next step in how we interact with Node and how we contribute to it. What led us to leaving the house was Node 12, which took about 2 years to ship. And for end users, many end users are still using Node 10. It's very stable, does Node, and does everything that you expect it to do. But if you think of the developers that are working on a project like this, 2 years is excruciating. It's painful. Core developers that are working on a project like this need to ship code. It's a fundamental raw need for developers. So the fact that Node 12 was so far behind and so delayed left to what we ended up calling IOJS. IOJS came out of some discussions and core contributors wanting to be able to continue to move Node forward, IOJS really shot out the side of the project. Fedor Dutney over Thanksgiving of 2014, just threw it up and on GitHub, and there we were off in IOJS. It may have seemed a lot more organized than that, but it was really Fedor and a surprise to many core contributors that there it is. IOJS is in fact one of the names that Ryan Dahl, the creator of Node, was toying with early on. And having IOJS there, we can continue to develop on the platform. And the 5 years into Node's life, there are many individuals who define their career around Node, and that needed to be in a centralized place where everyone felt that original sense of ownership. Node grew up very organically and with a lot of individual contribution. And that individual contribution leads to a very positive, very tangible sense of ownership. So having a place where all these core developers can go and feel like what they're working on is meaningful. And a beautiful thing happened. With Node, you can see this downward trend in 2014 with as time went on with 12, and there was this dwindling group of core developers that were working on the project. But then IOJS happened, and the vast majority of the core team moved over to working on IOJS full time, and we did something very simple. We explicitly asked for contribution. We said, please come and participate. This is your project. We want you to be a part of this. And not just in the core code node. If you lift up the cover, it gets really complex very, very quickly. You move away from the application layer where we're working in JavaScript, and there's a thin veneer of JavaScript API, but then there's C and C++ and V8, and it gets really deep into technical weeds if you're contributing to core. But that's not the entirety of the Node project. There's so much more that goes into really creating the lifeblood of an open source project. So we made an explicit act of inviting individuals to come contribute and participate, find a way to do that. We ended up having documentation translated into a bunch of different languages that Node had never had that level of documentation and the translation of that. Amazing time. That's kind of the inner working of that. The end users that are using Node and running Node in production just kind of want to know that Node's okay. Want to know what to be using in production, and that what they're investing development effort on is going to be there for them in a long time into the future, and that they can rely on what's there. So it's very exciting to see all of those threads coming back together in this year, and it's exceedingly rare in the history of open source software that a fork like this happens, and it comes back together. You look at the history of open source, and at a certain point, interests diverge, and groups go in different directions. Linux is a prime example of that, where there are just so many permutations. Our Linux distributions were constantly getting introduced to brand new Linux distributions because there's a new flavor, a new tuning, a new direction on that. But the reason why that those threads came together is IOJS was never an intent to separate from Node. I gave an interview back at the beginning of the year, and I described IOJS as the ultimate pull request. So this project is the expression of the Node developers, Node community, asserting this is Node. This is what we believe in the project, and this is how it needs to be run. We need to continue to have that sense of contribution and the dynamic energy that's made Node what it is today. We understand the rest of politics or whatever's going on, but this is Node, and that assertion was always around Node in the Node project. So thankfully, with a lot of, unfortunately, probably for a open source project, a little bit too much for my taste of behind the scenes talking. But when you need to course correct, oftentimes it's more constructive to have a private conversation. But beginning of this year, we began to head down the path of Foundation. Back in December, the new CEO at Joint, Scott Hammond, who inherited day one this sort of seething, boiling pot of contention, announced that Joint had the intention to move it into a foundation, and we set out from there to really bring that forward. It's been a long year, so the official announcement was made back in February at Node Summit, and the Node Foundation. We talked to a lot of foundations along the way, and tried to find the right home for Node. And the Linux Foundation really was the perfect fit for the project. The community around Node has grown up. I for one, have a company that's dedicated to Node, but there are a lot of corporate interests there, but it's balanced by a lot of personal interests. If I wasn't doing things on the business side, I'd still be involved in Node because of that personal passion that I have for the project, and how much it's changed my life as a developer, and sort of allowed me to develop end-to-end JavaScript. So the foundation is up and running now. We just had some of the initial process coming together, and something to note: the Node core team is now the technical steering committee. So you hear the TSC will pop up a lot now. TSC is just the Node core team, and Rod Vag's been great, sort of leading up that effort there. Where do you go for Node these days? This is exciting. This is very new. GitHub Node.js is the org for this. Felix Geifensdorf had actually registered this back a long time ago, and it was sitting dormant. And as the foundation really came into being finalized, and when it was clear that IOJS and the core contributors were all coming back together, Felix very generously handed that off to the Node.js Foundation, and so anything going forward Node related is going to be found here as your primary home for code, for the real thing. IOJS is, for now, still a thing. We just had a release of 2.5 the other day, and the continuum of Node, basically Node. You'd say joint Node is Node.js, IOJS is this fork, but it's all Node, and the wonderful fact that we've been able to sort of bring it back together and have alignment as a community, and there's a continuum that goes from the 0 dots of the joint node days all the way through 0.12, and then the 1 dots with IOJS continue that version numbering. Right now the TSC is working on Node 3.0, which is where the converged code from IOJS 2 and 0.12 are coming back together, and all of that will live at GitHub Node.js Node. So this is the new home for that. If you're tracking a 0.12 release, that's still coming out of joint Node, but this will be Node.js going forward, and the primary repo for that. So 2015 brings, with all this evolution, even more ways that we can contribute. The foundation really represents a new way that companies can participate in facilitating Node. A couple years ago, Aaron Hammer made the assertion that to be a successful Node.js company, you had to hire a core contributor. That's not a very scalable process, and not necessarily what we need for the core project. Everyone as a company dedicated to Node wants to be sure that Node's going to continue and going to move forward. So by participating in the foundation, we have finally a platform to do that. The foundation has this sort of evolving sliding scale that encourages contribution. Does a very good job at incentivizing corporations to participate and really fund the project. It's a great system. The platinum, gold, and silver are very sort of standard foundation-y things. The key detail and the essential need that we as a community very strongly asserted in rolling out this process is that to represent Node, the foundation has to have an individual membership level, and that individual membership group has to be represented at the board. The individual membership group, I think the final details is about $50 a year for an individual contributor. Those individuals who are not involved in the corporate side of things and are join the foundation at that level, pull together and have that vital voice of the community, of the individuals who make up Node, and those individuals are what's really made Node great. As individuals, the IOJS process and that explicit request for an invitation for contributors has evolved into the working group process. And there are an incredible number of working groups that are really exploring the needs of the Node community. NAN has been given to the Node project as the official way to do native modules. That's eased that process greatly. So rather than doing sort of very brittle bindings directly to V8 code, there's an abstraction layer that makes that scalable, and you still have to recompile for a major V8 change, but you can go in and not have to change your application code significantly. The API working group is working on the Node.js API externally and also internally. Node has always been on V8, and That's been a blessing. Because of V8, we have fast JavaScript. Back, I'm showing my age. Back in the late '90s, Netscape Communication Server had server-side JavaScript, but it was horrible. It was completely inefficient. The API working group is also exploring how we can make that underlying VM API more flexible and more robust to really deal with V8, and also facilitate things like what Microsoft's been doing to put Node on Chakra, and they're doing some really interesting things with their IoT platform with that tooling. It's been really positive. We've had Spider Node in the past with SpiderMonkey running on Node with the Mozilla team, but it was hard for them to maintain, and Node's always been tracking that V8 API. So we're gonna make that API layer more robust, and it should be very interesting to see the outcome there. One of my favorite groups, the diversity working group, came out of NodeConf this year. Dave's done an incredible job at really building a diverse event, and it shows from that thoughtfulness, the beautiful diversity of the attendees of this group. Unfortunately, the Node core team is still a bit too white male, and as a company investing in Node, we want to be sure that we have a diverse pool of developers that we can draw on. So we'll continue to invest in that and work to drive that forward. Brian Hughes, if you did the NodeBots event, that NodeBot effort is working toward what hopefully will become native APIs in Node for some of that low-level serial communication. Node was created as an application development platform, and Chris Williams, Voodoo Tiki God, has he created Node Serial Port that sort of allowed the whole NodeBots experience to evolve. He's been asking core to expose the low-level API in there for hardware interests, and so if you're passionate about that, you're building on that. That's a great opportunity to get involved. INTL is internationalization, so 0.12 introduces new standards-based internationalization features, very important for the larger deployments. LTS, I'll touch on in a moment. Post-mortem debugging with core dumps, tracing, and all the translation work that's been going on. So near and dear to my heart and the enterprise is this group that we've been spearheading, and one of the biggest feedback points that we heard from end users in IOJS was like, whoa, like things are coming way too fast. I'm running this in production. I don't have any interest in following the day-to-day evolution. I want to make sure that that's happening. But what I mostly want is to know that what I'm running in production is stable and is going to be supported. So the LTS working group was created to really define the long-term strategy for how Node is supported, and with that also has facilitated a lot of the development flow to you basically establish that the outer range of your constraint with LTS and then it colors the entire development flow and how that fits in. So Converge Node will have its first stable release with what should be 4.0 in August. It'll be very exciting to have something that we can all move from 0.10, from 0.12, or from IOJS to a version that is going to be supported for quite a long time. The first LTS release will be in October. So with LTS, we have a new LTS that'll be cut about once a year, and then that LTS support will be around for that version for 18 months. So when an LTS version is released, that API is going to be consistent for a very long period, and then after those 18 months, an additional 12 months of maintenance with critical security patches being landed there. So you have kind of ironically, a couple of years. The original pain point of Node 12 for developers. Remember, this is developers not being able to ship code, not the end user experience. And the end user experience, is stability and consistency are king. This brings together the right balance where the Node core team, the TSC, can continue to develop and make that essential evolution of the platform, drive forward adoption of ES6 and all the exciting things that are coming out of the underlying evolution of the JavaScript runtime. But also, end of the day, the most important thing is users using Node and the resounding cries that end users want Node to be consistent and stable. So it's been an exciting adventure, but this little part of the JavaScript ecosystem has really come together, and it's great to have everyone that's been involved with Node for these last few years together again, and to see all the new contribution that's happening. So very excited to move Node.js forward, and together with that, it also moves JavaScript forward. So thank you very much.